Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin. I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And as we move through December, we are having another great pickup and another emptying of our wallets. As this December rolls around, so do the empty sounds of no change in your change purse, no bills in your wallets, the credit cards melted together. That's just how it is this time of year.
Yes, indeed.
Now, as far as news on the channel is concerned, I don't know if you've seen any of them, but I've done some short reviews. We've had Santa come on. But Santa is getting too drunk on the cookies, so he's probably going to finish up the Silent Night, Deadly Night series, which has started, for those of you who have been looking, Saturday and Sunday. We've got the first two films up. Wednesday, Thursday will be 3, 4, and then 5 is Friday. And then the remake will be Saturday, and Santa will be bidding adieu for the year.
Well, he's busy this time of year. He can't just stick around one place doing reviews.
Yeah, just to eat so many cookies, it's just amazing. The man just go through 100 of them in a setting. But with that being said, I wish y'all the best. Try and check them out. Tell me what you think of this. It's not quite a failed experiment, but it's one that I need to retool a little bit because it's a little bit harder to work with. And of course, this week I've heard The Punisher released, which is kind of nice. I've heard it's very slow. I've only seen part of the Daredevil series, so I have not gotten to see The Punisher itself, but I've heard he's very moody and he's very sad. He's very sad. Frank Castle is very sad.
Well, he is. That's his MO. He's very sad.
But I've actually been doing some watching, and I accomplished a feat. I finished Freddy's Nightmares. I got that done.
All right.
And I watched Scream 3 and 4, so both of those sets that I had sat there unfinished for a long time, finally done. I was able to move on to Christmas stuff. The Silent Night, Deadly Night series. I'm slow. I'll admit, after the first movie, which was excellent, by the way, the second and third movies are kind of hard. And then the fourth movie threw me for a loop, like, what the heck? But I'm watching some Christmas stuff, getting into the season. That's my general. I want to go see Star Wars. Don't know if I'll get to see Star Wars, but we'll see how that works out.
Yep, I'm trying to work on that to be good.
So what's up on your end this time?
I'm trying to think what movies I've seen in the last week. I know there've been a couple. I did rewatch Hidden Figures, which is a great film. Yeah. It's very well worth watching. A lot of fun, but it's also just a good, uplifting movie. A little disturbing, though, to be reminded of things in the past that are, as we said on our other video tonight, still kind of around. Not really going anywhere in some cases. And then, let me see here. I know there was... Well, I'll try and think of that. I did watch a few episodes. I was cat sitting the other night. I got on Hulu and don't get to do that very much. Got to check out the first 3 episodes of Marvel's The Runaways, which is a show that I was really looking forward to seeing. And for those of you who are not familiar with Brian K. Vaughan's The Runaways, it's one of the best comics ever written. It is good. It's a really good series. And the show, of course, they made a lot of changes. And some of them are just head-scratching changes. It's like, why? I'm not going to get into the specifics because I don't want to spoil it or whatever, but it's very important that each of the families had one kid. And they threw that right out the window in the series. And I still haven't seen the explanation of why. They created a new character and then killed her off before the start of the series. So it's like... And then they turned Carolina Dean's family into a kind of combination Scientology cult kind of, where she's basically like a Jesus freak type character. It's an interesting version of the character, but not quite the same. It's interesting. A lot of people did not like the series so far. I'm holding judgment until I've seen the whole thing. But
it's just the episodes are so long.
Well, they're like 45 minutes.
Every bit of my time is just like I gotta be very careful with how I spend it. So I spend most of it playing Skyrim. I really do want to see it. I enjoyed the comics. It was one of the last comics I was reading on before I kind of quit. I mean, really, at the end, it was that, New Mutants, and Deadpool. Those were the only ones I was reading by the end.
And of course, we're still waiting to see what Fox does with New Mutants this coming, was it March?
I'm still waiting to see what Disney is going to do with Fox. That's the other... They're still heavily negotiating. You might see Deadpool have to go to a PG rating from here on out.
I don't think they're going to go PG.
If Disney takes them, they're going to go PG.
They've got PG-13 stuff.
Maybe PG-13, but I doubt they're going to go for the hard R. And they need Deadpool with the hard R.
Yeah, Deadpool kind of has to be an R. He could clean up some of the filthy jokes and whatnot and still be Deadpool. But...
Well, I think they could do it in an ensemble piece. Like, let's say that if they combined them and they decided to add Deadpool in the next Avengers movie, say not the upcoming one, but the one after. You know, I could see that maybe. Adding just quirkiness instead of the whatever. But for the Deadpool
fit
standalones,
right in with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Kind of. And I actually want to see Fantastic Four done properly.
Yes.
Roger Corman is right now the lead as the best adaptation of Fantastic Four.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Fox.
That's a terrible thing because it is not a good movie. But to me, it's far more faithful to the comics and far more enjoyable to watch than the others that I've seen.
Man.
Now, I haven't seen Fanforstic. But from what I've heard, it's not much better than the other ones.
Fidelity to the comics, it is not. No. And, but yeah, ensemble pieces can be a lot of fun, but I'm still puzzled at why all these Marvel ones that are going straight to streaming are so separate from each other, and yet they keep trying to do the connected universe. Like, early on in the Runaways series, there's an extended episode where Cloak and Dagger feature prominently. I don't expect to see them in the show for the simple reason that there's a separate series for them.
Yeah.
They could, on a totally different platform, Freeform. I don't even know Freeform. It's like...
Well, it could be. Yeah. I mean, Supergirl joined the CW ones, but...
But that's when the show actually moved from CBS to CW. And then the other one, there's a single moment in Runaways that would rely on Sony to play ball and might rely on DC to play ball.
Well...
But... I love the part where a couple of them run into Spider-Man in an alley, and he says, "I'm Batman."
Well, Cloak and Dagger have been with Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah, I know.
If they ever did get their butts together and did a real good Venom story, and of course the horror movie's coming out next year, but which I doubt will be a good story, but. I'm sure it'll be interesting and it'll be scary, but it won't reflect the comics or even attach. They say it might not even attach to Spider-Man, which,
by definition, how?
But if they were able to attach it to the world, we were able to get Spider-Man together, get Cloak and Dagger there. I think we could have Maximum Carnage, and Maximum Carnage. I know that people have a bad taste in their mouth with the movies due to. That third one. But... That third one. That's all we're going to call it. But trust me, for those of you who actually know, those of you kind of sick of the symbiote and Venom thing, go back. Read the original Carnage story, and then read Maximum Carnage. That's really all you need. They kind of go over the top after that, but those are really good. And the old Venom, that when Todd McFarlane was drawing Spider-Man, that's amazing stuff. I mean, Todd McFarlane did a good job with Spider-Man.
Mhm.
That's how he got his edge, so that he could do Spawn, which was kind of a Spider-Man ripoff. But is that what it is? Oh, and Squid Girl, of course. You got that news.
Squid Girl. I was going to say that's a random aside there, but
Hey, Squid Girl, she could swing like
Hey,
Dr. Octopus.
could you imagine though Iko Musume with the symbiote? That would be such a fun crossover.
You could have her go get Spider-Man like Dr. Octopus. She could join up with Dr. Octopus, and they would,
I guess you were talking about the thing where it got delayed.
Yeah.
Yes, my bonus edition of Squid Girl. I have to wait until right after Christmas. It's a month delay. But, on the other hand, I get to look forward to something after Christmas, so I guess that's cool. Yeah, it's like the day after or something. I think it's supposed to be coming out now.
And I ordered the middle finger.
Yeah, we've got orders. I've got orders coming. I found stuff today on Right Stuff that I'm going to have to go for. But
Yeah.
I've definitely got some stuff coming. But and then we've both got stockpiles, plenty.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we'll have plenty of fun stuff to cover in these. And in fact, let's get along with it.
Yep. Speaking of stockpiles.
And actually, this will thematically fit very nicely with our conversation thus far. Last week, I briefly mentioned that I actually did go Thanksgiving night because I'm crazy. Went to Best Buy and Walmart and whatever, and I did some shopping. And I mentioned briefly that there were 4 items on their advertisement that were why I went. And I walked in the door and found, well, 4 of them on the advertisement, 3 of which were why I went. Because, again, I'm going to wait and get the Planet of the Apes trilogy as a set. But I walked in the door, and there was a big display, and all 3 of those items were on the display, but 2 of them were gone. I was very annoyed. I did find them further back in the building. But the one that was still on the display fits perfectly with our descriptions, or our talk thus far, because it is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man.
This is
Spider-Man.
Yes. This is the most recent, for those of you keeping track, or who haven't been keeping track, I guess I should say. This is the most recent one. This is the first standalone Sony Pictures release with Marvel Comics as an actual production, or Marvel Studios as an actual production partner. They have a very unusual deal set up where Marvel can use their Spider-Man characters, but it's like on a case-by-case basis,
Gotta give us money.
And they get kind of a reciprocal agreement, too, because they can then use certain Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man Homecoming is notable for Iron Man and Iron Man's put-upon assistant, Happy Hogan, as being major parts of the cast. But it's also got Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, a.k.a. Vulture, the third winged character that Michael Keaton has played. And he does a really good job. And Tom Holland is great as Spider-Man. He really is. He made his debut in Civil War, which I still need to get. Ticks me off.
Beautiful movie, though.
Wonderful movie. And Spider-Man Homecoming was billed as a John Hughes branded superhero movie, and it fits that description pretty well. It kind of fits right at home with things like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and those kind of things. It's a really fun movie. I actually got to go see it twice in theaters. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it again. It was the advertisement was Blu-ray films for $8.
Yeah.
So I was like, $8. That's a price I gotta do it. Yeah. So very, very happy to get this one. Yeah.
Yep. So now mine is also either a Black Friday or Cyber Monday deal. I confuse the two, but this one was done online for Best Buy. I was surprised by this because I didn't think that it would go on sale. I did see it at Walmart. I was there. I usually go in the aftermath because I like to look around, like the hurricane damage, stuff like that done. And I found it on DVD a lot. But I didn't realize that they did finally. Best Buy had it online for a time for $10, which is the new, well, not the new, but the newest season of American Horror Story on Blu-ray. I believe it's season 6, or is it 5? Season 6. Yeah, season 6. So this one actually, I've seen most of it already. We have this thing going apparently where we watch a good portion of it and then we stop watching it. So I've seen a good portion of most of them except for Hotel. Hotel, we looked at season 1 with and had to stop. After episode 1, I was like, no more. Even though I have Hotel up there, I will confront my fears later on. I will get that done.
Yeah, you know it's messed up if him and his wife don't like that one.
I mean, if you think you would have a hard time, I have the
I
hard
know
time.
I would have a hard time. I've been told enough about it. You know, I'm still wanting to get into this series, but I may just give Hotel a miss.
I mean, overall, most of the seasons of this are really good. My favorite is season 2, which is Asylum. But all the series I've seen the first 3 without any problems. Which, you had the haunted house, you had the asylum, you had the witches. Then in the 4th one, you had the freaks, which I saw most of. And the 5th one, you've had the hotel, which had the vampire things, and now this one, it's sort of a take on the disappeared Roanoke colonists, and very good, kind of a new take on the haunted house thing. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Worth your while.
Yeah, Freak Show is still the only one that I saw most of, and it was the
Bruce
same
Campbell.
thing. We ended up. Was it?
Had Bruce Campbell in it.
So anyway, the next one was arguably the one that triggered action more than anything. It's still barely my number 1 pick for the year. Actually, 3 of these films came out this year and 2 of them last year, so these are like really recent, the ones that I brought tonight. But this was one of the other ones on the advertisement, and strangely enough, is not quite the most entertaining Marvel Comics release this year. Thor Ragnarok was awesome, but a close second and slightly in the lead overall on my list is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. For those of you who are not familiar with this series, watch it. It was seriously, when the first one came out, I didn't know what to expect. I was not particularly familiar with the comics or even the concept of the team. But I saw the movie and I loved it. I mostly knew Rocket, the raccoon.
Hey.
I knew him as a fighting game character who kicked ass in the fight. Which one was it? Was it Marvel v.
3.
Capcom 3? Okay, but it was just such a fun movie. It was very different, very weird. Chris Pratt was perfect as Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. Everyone did their jobs beautifully. The second series, I thought, got a little bit... The effects, I thought, weren't as impressive in the second one, strangely enough.
But it had Baby Groot.
It did have Baby Groot. And there's the opening sequence involving Baby Groot and the ELO song Mr. Blue Sky is that sequence is...
The soundtracks are part of the
The
reason.
soundtracks are awesome. The Awesome Mix and Awesome Mix Volume 2. And I was seeing something where James Gunn saying that the studio did not want that. But he was adamant, and we are happy he was.
Well, we have sort of a superhero theme going here.
Yes. But yeah, this is a really good movie. Very, very highly recommended. And again, $8. I was very happy to get that. Yeah.
So, next up on my list, This one was a Black Friday Amazon buy. Darn it, cat, you're not going to knock it down again. Okay. The cat keeps knocking down the mouse with his tail. So, I've been wanting this movie for a while, but I didn't want to pay $12 for it. I know. But $6, I could do $6. Well, $5.88, which is Bad Santa 2. This is more of a morbid curiosity.
Yes.
I mean, you did get some of the big players back, and that amazes me. I mean, Billy Bob Thornton's back, but not just Billy Bob Thornton, but, you know...
Lauren Graham and Tony Cox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back again.
Unfortunately, you could not get the full cast back since Bernie Mac and John Ritter have passed, but
just it amazes me that you've got this group back again.
Yeah.
It can't be that good a movie.
It's not still Terry Zwigoff, is it? Who directed this one?
Let's see here. Let's see here. Production: Billy Bob Thornton, Kathy Bates, Tony Cox, Christina Hendricks. Casting, music. Oh, come on.
It's usually at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Well, based on characters, directed by Mark Waters this time.
Okay.
So, I see this. I gotta watch it. I will watch it this season. It's on my definite watch list. So you will see this in review sometime this month.
You know, I really enjoyed the first one. It was dark and it was a little bit rough, to put it mildly.
Just a little.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about it. But yeah, I think $6 is probably the most I would even consider for that one. Okay. Slightly departing from the superhero theme for a little bit is the third movie on that advertisement. Which is a particularly good get because it's a Disney release. And Disney films are never cheap. So, this was definitely good. Last year, well, I've been saying for a little while that Disney has been trying, ever since the acquisition of Pixar Studios, Disney has been trying to create a Pixar film. Last year, they finally succeeded. Zootopia was a Pixar film, and it was great. It was wonderful. It was one of the best films of the year. Actually, not my third best, behind Only Yesterday and Your Name. Barely making my top 10 was their other film. So they had 2 top 10 films in the year, not counting live action stuff related to Marvel Studios. But I went ahead and got, for, again, $8, the other Disney animated release of the year, Moana, which is a very good movie, very fun movie. I do not believe that it really should have gotten the Oscar nod for original song that it got, because the song is not that strong outside of the film, but it's very strong in the film. You know what
Can I say except...
No, not that one.
But that's the one I like the most out of that one.
You're Welcome is a good... The Rock gets a song, and it's hilariously wrong. And unfortunately, this one also had one of the weakest songs in Disney history, the Shiny. It was... But How Far I'll Go is a good song. It just... There were so many great ones that could have gotten that nomination. Even You're Welcome might have been a better choice because it's so memorable. But it's a beautiful film, very well done. The 2 leads play off each other well, and the chicken is such a perfect representation of chickens everywhere that it amused me.
Yeah, the one that got the nomination was the typical "I want to, explore. I want freedom."
Yes.
I'm a whatever. I'm a Disney character who needs to be a protagonist and go on an adventure.
This is very much a Disney princess film. Literally, in some ways. But it's supposedly, it got a lot of press as supposedly the first Disney film with a female lead who did not have a love interest. And so I guess that is kind of a notable thing.
Frozen you could make the argument that Frozen, if you
depends on who the lead
is,
is.
Because technically the sisters are both the lead, and one of the sisters did have a love interest, but the other sister did not. Elsa did not.
But basically the idea of a love interest having to be a central part of the story,
there was none.
Yeah. And of course the fact that it is supposedly a pretty good celebration of Polynesian culture and everything, and it's just a fun movie and it's worth watching, and Disney is getting much better at making good films. They're still not brilliant in some cases, but that was I was very happy to get that.
Well, as you have heard on this channel before, Sentai is very good at running sales, and they run the same sale, but they seem to get a little bit more and more off the top as we go. I eventually decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and get a series that I have been curious about for a while, which is Bodacious Space Pirates.
Who wouldn't be curious with that title?
It looks interesting. This version I got is actually one of those consolidation versions that has both series in it. So that's 26 episodes in here instead of the 2 12-episode blocks they have, and this is the movie.
I have it.
And it's the story of this, speaking of a Disney princess type, she ends up inheriting a pirate ship from her father, who turned out to be a notorious space pirate, and now she's got to do the space pirate thing, and you go around the world and space pirate herself,
So it's the Treasure Planet sequel to the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yep.
But actually, that seriously is one I want to see. I own the series on Blu-ray. I do not have the movie yet. I just haven't gotten to it because there's so much to watch. Yeah.
So what you got?
Okay, and this actually harkens back to our conversation earlier. This was one that I wanted last Black Friday, and no one got it. They missed the sale. But this time around, I found it even less. I think it was
matters into your own hands.
I took matters into my own hands, and I believe this was a $7 purchase. But I finally am the proud owner of Deadpool.
I've got it on Steelbook.
Yeah, I know you got a nicer looking set, but whatever. This is still a good set. And as we were discussing earlier, Deadpool is very definitely a movie worth watching. Yeah. It is filthy and absurd and obscene at times, and absolutely the perfect star vehicle for Ryan Reynolds. It really was.
It is.
And Fox, the story behind this is just so crazy. Fox butchered the character in X-Men Origins Wolverine, pissed off everybody, and somehow got the idea that everyone was so pissed off at Deadpool. No one must like him. We don't need to.
Character.
Yeah, terrible. No one wants Deadpool. They had Ryan Reynolds, and that was great. That was perfect. And Reynolds spent years trying to get the movie made right, and thank God he did. The movie's not perfect, but it's a really good, as a Deadpool movie, you couldn't have gotten much better.
It's a good Deadpool movie.
And the marketing blitz that Reynolds went on, I think some of it's on here. I hope some of it is.
Yeah.
It's one of the best marketing ever. And if you haven't checked it out already, he's done a Bob Ross.
Oh yeah, go on to YouTube. Look up Deadpool marketing. You'll see a lot.
He's got the first trailer for the second film has him pretending to be Bob Ross. It's wrong and great and fun. But yeah, this is one of the films that has a lot of people up in arms about the possibility of Disney buying Fox. I don't think Disney's dumb enough to make it a PG movie, but they're probably not. This is very definitely a hard R, and I don't think Disney would do that.
I don't know if Disney would do it as a hard R.
But it's well worth a watch if you like superhero movies, if you like raunchy comedies and action movies. It's good one all around.
So this next one I got because of my wife.
Hmm.
She kept mentioning it. We were watching Charlie Brown Halloween. She mentioned it. It's like, what about that one where they had the baguette and they kept hitting each other with the baguette? And then comes Thanksgiving. Same thing. What about that? What's it called? Don't you have that one? I was like, no, I don't have that one. I just have the holiday set. It has the 3 main features and then the crappier ones that they made also so that you can have multiple ones on a disc. So I finally tracked it down and I got Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and it has a little parentheses, and Don't Come Back, because they're always really mean to Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the idea, is, watching a kid get bullied as part of the, I guess, enjoyment of the series. But
It's the American way.
this particular one, I remember it, but it's been ages. He goes to Europe, and they have little complications. It's one of the later ones. I think it was done in the 80s. And still, it was enjoyable from what I remember. We're going to watch it again. I'm sure she's going to be happy to watch this. I haven't shown her yet, but I'm sure she'll be happy to see it. It was like $10, so I said, you know what, I'll add it to a Black Friday order. Put it in there.
Good times.
Yep.
All right, and the last one I got is one that I was frankly surprised to find as cheap as I did. I found it for $7. Again, Best Buy. Actually, everything I brought tonight I picked up at Best Buy, Thanksgiving evening. Definitely part of their Black Friday sales. And
So that's the thing that ties it together.
well, tonight, yeah.
That's the thing. Okay.
But it is mostly a superhero theme too. But again, shocked to find this one for $7.
All right.
One of the biggest films of the year.
That was
Wonder
the best
Woman.
deal. It really was.
Yeah, so Wonder Woman, for those of you who have not been following along, you probably aren't watching this channel. But for those of you who haven't been following along, DC Extended Universe has been off to what could charitably be called a rocky start.
Very rocky start. On the Tripton, like the full tilt run without looking at the ground.
Yes.
Towards the movie that was Justice League.
And actually, this is fitting to follow up Charlie Brown, because with the sole exception of Wonder Woman, everyone that's come out so far, the audience has been Charlie Brown. And Warner Brothers and DC Comics has been Lucy holding the football. And as we come up ready to enjoy this movie, suddenly the football is cruelly yanked away.
Lucy didn't even show up this time for Wonder Woman. Lucy's like, this is gonna suck.
Yeah. And because she was nowhere around, Charlie Brown was able to have a good time for once.
I picture that Family Guy scene where he beats the crap out of Lucy for, it's like,
yes.
You hold that ball! You hold it! Yeah!
Yes. Lucy is, we all grew up with the Charlie Brown stuff. I did not realize until very recently that Lucy is one of the cruelest, most evil characters in American pop culture. But at any rate, Wonder Woman is great. It manages to avoid the curse of the DCEU. It's a great, fun movie. It's not flawless, but it is my third favorite film of the year so far, behind Guardians and Thor. It is a really, really good movie.
It's a solid action film.
It's a solid action film.
film.
It's well acted, well directed. The villain is actually pretty interesting, and the red herring that they do is pretty good. Steve Travers, played by Chris Pine, does a great job. Gal Gadot does a great job as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And it's just... When is the rest of the good DC movies coming out?
Out of what I've seen, and it's like, right now, it's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, and Suicide Squad and Justice League. Out of those, the only one that I'd say would stand up to even the weakest of the Marvel movie releases is that one. Which
Well,
actually, I think that one's better than some of the weakest Marvel
Man
releases.
of Steel would hold up to the weakest ones.
I don't know. I think
Man of
they'd be
Steel was okay. It wasn't
no
extraordinary.
heart to that one.
Well, there was more heart than any other Zack Snyder film I've ever seen, which
That's
is not
saying
saying
something
much.
right there.
It's not saying
Yeah,
much.
that's-
But like, and I actually, it was really funny. Oh man, this might be really wrong, and we might be offending some people if I say this. But I was talking the other day to some people at work about the DC movies, and I mentioned you. I think were the one who, with the X-Men movies, you always go at them like with the viewpoint of, well, they've already ruined the franchise, so we'll just see how little they ruin it this time. And he's like, yeah, that's the way I look at the DCU too.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he was like, they're like the Special Olympics of movies, and it was like, you cheer for them, and you're like, you're doing such a good job,
Good job, Billy.
And I was like, oh, so they brought in a ringer for Wonder Woman, huh? And he was like, oh yeah. And so, like, yeah, I know we'll get hate mail for that, but I just thought that was in some ways it's kind of an accurate.
I'm waiting for the Batman movie to come out. That's going to be like the episode of South Park where Cartman decides he's going to get in the Special Olympics and clean up. But then it turns out that they're in much better shape than he is, and he loses everything. That's how the Batman movie is going to shape up.
Man, I continue to be cautiously hopeful.
Oh, I still haven't seen Justice League.
I still say it all hinges on Gotham City Sirens. If they butcher that, I'm done.
Well, you see, what's weird is when you're getting in the DC does a great job with a lot of their TV shows.
Oh yeah,
and they're animated. So they just need to pull off of those two, scrap what they've got, and go off of the TV stuff.
well, even there, they've messed up on some of the recent animated stuff.
But usually it's minor stuff.
Or like one really big thing, But I did end up. We'll be talking those on future pickups. There were a lot of those that were part of the sales.
Yeah, I picked up two, and I did one last week, I believe. So this one is my final. This was not a Black Friday deal. This was a full price, but the guy who did this actually included a free movie with it, so it was pretty good there. It was $20. And I finally, of course, those of you who actually keep up with the review portions of this channel, and there are a few of you, so I applaud you. And I was able to keep my Camp Blood series up to date by getting It Kills Camp Blood 7. And as you can see, I've got the one of the producers here, David Sterling's signature on the back, as you can see. And it is, of course, the continuation of the Camp Blood series. I won't go too in-depth into that. Just see my Camp Blood wish list. My Camp Blood list. I've actually done a list of them, so you can actually go through them all from 1 to 7 if you really want to. But there's 8 of them there, because the third one he doesn't really recognize. So it goes 1, 2, movie, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this one, film quality, excellent. You can tell they used HD filming equipment with this stuff. If it gets this good a quality on a DVD, I'm sure it would look excellent on Blu-ray, which I never thought I'd say about a Camp Blood film. And it's decent. Out of the Camp Blood series, not as good as 666, but worlds better than 4 and 5. I'd say it's about even with 3. For those who are looking at the review. So that's it for what we picked up for the week. Stay tuned to this channel. We're going to try and do a big old Christmas spectacular. That's the plan. Right before the week before Christmas, we'll try and release, because we're going to be off on that Monday and Tuesday. So look forward to that. It's going to be a little bit more than the normal, and we will see you on the next one.
All right.